close to heart that you've trained NSG Commandos. How did that happen to you?
Great. So, in fact, one day, Parkour is a very small community in the country. Like earlier, like back when I'm talking back then. Now it's already exploded, but
What is animal movement? So it is related to parkour or it is different?
So the great thing about parkour is everything can be parkour because it's all about moving your body, overcoming obstacles. So animal movement is just basically using your body and mimicking movements that you see in nature. Okay. Also, the problem now is we are animals.
नमस्कार देवियों सज्जनों, आपका स्वागत है द याडीज पॉडकास्ट शो पे। और आज हमारे साथ बहुत ही खास व्यक्ति और हमारे घनिष्ठ मित्र हैं हमारे साथ द याडीज पॉडकास्ट शो पे, जिनका नाम है जाइल्स डिसूजा। ये काफ़ी अलग सी बॉडी मूवमेंट करते हैं, अलग सी कहने से अच्छा उसको एक एंटाइटल करूँ मैं, कैलिस्थेनिक्स, पार्कोर और ऐसी कई सारी चीज़ें ये जो करते हैं, हम उसके बारे में काफ़ी विस्तार में जानेंगे। एंड ये हमारा पॉडकास्ट जो है इंग्लिश में होने वाला है, बीच बीच में हम हिंदी भी देंगे। जाइल्स प्लीज़ बीच बीच में थोड़ा हिंदी दे देना। सो हम ये पॉडकास्ट शुरू करते हैं इस टॉपिक के साथ। तो हमारा पहला सवाल है, जाइल्स, हाउ आर यू फीलिंग नाउ?
Oh, I feel good. So it's good to be here. It's good to meet you after so long.
Thank you.
आपको इतना
be in English.
yeah. So you can see why it is in English.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good to be here. Yeah, it's good to be here. It's good to meet you.
Yeah.
We've also reconnected after quite some time. So,
after a year.
After a year now, yeah.
Yeah, after a year. So I just wanted to ask, like, how did this journey of you started in this body movement wala thing?
So in terms of body movements and everything, I like how you put it, that you said it's a body movement, because a lot of times people look at fitness as, they put it in a box. It's like you're either doing bodybuilding or you're either doing calisthenics or you're either doing whatever X, Y, Z. But I feel like when it comes to just fitness, it starts with moving your body in different, ways, basically. Mm-hmm. And sometimes adding weight to it, sometimes learning from what you're doing already, and not putting yourself in a box of, I do this activity, I do that activity, but just doing something for your benefit. That's it. So, as you know, I've experienced, like, I have my, background with Parkour, I have my background with the little animal movement, I have my background with strength and conditioning. So what I've done is I put everything together and I take what I need to use in that moment, depending on the client that I'm training, depending on whether it's a sports person, whether it's the armed forces, depending if it's like a regular person, a senior citizen. And you take movements from what you've learned and you take it and you put it to a person who needs it. So it's all about understanding what you need, what a person needs, and doing things that help you do those things better.
Okay. So that now you've mentioned about parkour, calisthenics. So basically whatever you do in life, it needs a discipline. Okay. And body movement is something like, it's very hard to wake up in the morning. Even if I want to go to the gym, I have to force myself. I have to wake up, but I cannot wake up. That's not possible for me. But body movement firstly needs a discipline, and there are multiple departments that you have mentioned: calisthenics, parkour, and body movement. Basically, animal movement also you mentioned. So can you just explain one by one? So first, let's go with calisthenics. What is calisthenics?
So calisthenics is just basically using your own body weight or adding weight onto your body weight to be able to do movements. So the basic few exercises for calisthenics are your pull-ups, your push-ups, your parallel bar dips, your free squats. Then after you start getting used to it, you can start doing muscle-ups, planches, everything. But then that becomes something for like where people who are quite elite in it do it. So like when it comes to a planche and when it comes to other things, I also can't do them. But then again, it becomes very specifically tailored to someone who wants to, like, it can be someone who's very fit also, but mostly people who are very into calisthenics will end up going and doing very advanced movements. For regular people, which is why I keep bringing it back to regular people, like even if you look at parkour, you see the best people who are out there, they're jumping from building to building or they're doing like something on high levels and stuff like that. But a lot of people don't need to and don't want to do those things. It's firstly high risk and everything like that. But even when it comes to risk, it's about how you've trained through your life. For example, the person who's jumping at a high building, firstly has reached that stage in their practice where they've put so many hours in like doing it on the ground level that they are confident and comfortable doing it there. Like a lot of people who are outsiders, they'll watch it and they'll say, wow, like how are you doing this and everything. But for that person, it is as normal as walking down steps. Because for them, they've done it so many times that the margin for error only is like so less that they are just so confident doing it. They know that their body will be able to do it. So they do it. And now that's the difference between what I tell people who are just looking for general fitness and people who are looking to become experts at certain different activities. Firstly, if you're looking for just general fitness, you just need the basics. You need to understand what your lifestyle is. So, for example, if you're a working person and most of the day you're sitting in front of the desk and you're doing computer work, for you to then either join say something high intense workout, your body is firstly not used to it. So for example, if the person working behind the desk not done any physical activity in their life, they've started work, they've saved up money, they said, okay, now I'm going to put it into my fitness. If they join like a very high intense class, like some, say for example CrossFit, if they join like a CrossFit class, even though a lot of CrossFit movements can be good for your body, for that person to push their body to that extreme, coming from a zero background of fitness and everything, after sitting on a desk the whole day or living a very sedentary lifestyle, they will get hurt. So that's the same thing you should ask yourself for every discipline that you choose to do, be it like a karate, be it like a mixed martial arts, be it parkour, be it calisthenics, be it whatever you're doing. Ask yourself where you're coming from, what are your goals and what are your ambitions to do with this, what are you looking to get out of this certain discipline or movement, how is it affecting your life, whether it's a positive thing, whether it's affecting you negatively. Think about those things and then choose an activity to do. So that's basically it. So I tell people, build a lifestyle that revolves around you understanding your needs, understanding that you don't want to be an elite person, and if you do, then that's great, and you should train in a way that makes you an elite athlete or an elite whatever. But most people don't need such crazy levels of what you see online and what you see on Instagram.
Okay, that's crazy. I mean, they are jumping from here.
Yeah.
So, like, what are the basic fundamentals of a person who is not familiar with calisthenics? What are the basic fundamentals that he or she should know?
So, I would say when it comes to calisthenics specifically, get your pull-up, get your push-up, get your squat. Once you get those things, everything else that you do will be built upon just those things. Like, people underestimate how good a pull-up is for a movement. It works almost every muscle in your upper body. It works honestly saying, if you go through the anatomy video of what the pull-up works on, it works on almost every upper body muscle. Then your push-ups build a good foundation towards a lot of other pushing elements that you would want to do. And your squat basically builds your legs and keeps them strong. Then after that, if you want to add to the upper body movements, you can start adding pike push-ups, you can start adding some core work, you can start adding something else, depending on pike push-ups.
Okay.
So those are more shoulder oriented and it builds the foundation towards a handstand, and then it all depends on what your goals are. So that's what fitness is in general. When I say understanding the body is important and understanding what your goals are, that's important, because once you have a goal to reach, then the brain decides how to formulate the plan to get to the goal. If you just have no goal in life or you have like nothing to reach for or something, then you'll always just float around the place and you won't really do like anything in general. So that's it.
Crazy. So like now that you have described the fundamentals of it, I just want to know what is parkour in depth. Like what is parkour? People have very basic idea of it because looking at those videos, people jumping from one building to another building. But I think parkour is more than that.
Yeah.
So just describe it for the people, like for the layman, just like me. I'm just used to parkour just because I've saw some videos because people are jumping like a monkey.
Yeah.
That's the whole image of parkour in my mind. So can you just explain exactly for like a layman like me or people out there, they want to understand what is parkour in depth?
So when it comes to parkour in general, it is, for me personally, it's very dependent on everyone's journey through the discipline. So for example, the basic funda of parkour, like if you look at it in a physical way, it is from getting from point A to point B in the quickest, most efficient manner possible. So if there's a wall in front of you, basically it teaches you how to run, climb over, jump over the wall, move. If it has like a gap, it teaches you how to get over the gap, and just keep moving from point A to point B using your body. Now, what I really like about parkour is you can take this fundamental, or you can take this idea and use it a lot in the mental aspect of life and in the world. So I use parkour now in my life more for the mental conditioning that it does. It's like, for example, obstacles are not just physical in nature. A lot of times, some of the main obstacles you get in life are the ones that are in your head. Your brain never shuts off for some people, and a lot of the problems that you have in your life are mostly derived in the mind, and they stay in the mind. So the basic fundamental of overcoming obstacles is what I love about parkour. So if I have a wall in front of me that I feel is a very high wall, if there's like a 10-foot wall in front of me, I'll teach myself how to climb that wall. It's the same thing. Like if I feel like I need to run faster to kick the wall and get up faster, or I don't have the strength to pull up over the wall, I can work on those elements and then put it into practice when it comes to the real world discipline. Same way, if I look at whatever troubles I have mentally, whatever troubles I have, in the mind, I can really logically look at those troubles and I can say, I need to do this to get over this part of the problem, or I need to do this to get over this part of this element of the problem. Practice it, and then put that into motion, and then use it to overcome that obstacle. So for me, parkour right now, I use the fundamentals of it. I use the training. I use this. I use that. But I use it more as like a mental strengthening tool than so much of like jumping from here to there or doing this and doing that. And the beautiful thing is everyone's journey is different. Like some people, they don't care about the mental aspect towards life. They just want to do things and they want to be cool and do it. And that's okay. Some people really like to think, see how they use things. And then that's it.
Correct. So like you have been training so many people's like in your life. Like till now, I think you have crossed how many people? Like you have trained.
I
how
don't know.
many
You
people?
have lots
You don't have
in
the
terms
count.
of
Yeah,
group
yeah.
classes, in terms of especially like
Okay,
yeah, it's
so
lots.
we don't have the count of
We
it,
don't,
but
we don't,
like
we don't.
like you might have met people with various like their assumptions, their misconceptions about parkour, calisthenics, and body movements. Can you tell me that what are the major 2 or 3 misconceptions or maybe some misleaded information that people have about these things?
So again, it all comes down to what you. So I've realized that people normally, so most people, they just want to be fit. Most people just want to be fit and live a life where they don't have pain. It's like as you grow older, you start realizing, oh yeah, my knees started. Like one day you'll just get up from the bed, you'll be like, "Arey, my knees are paining like that," and you're like, all this time in my life, I've never felt this knee pain. Or people just want to generally live life in a way where they feel confident and comfortable being able to do things without having a risk element in their head. Like for example, if you want to run and catch the bus and the bus has left the station, you want to be able to catch the bus. Like, in their head, they don't want to think twice, like, oh, if I run today and catch the bus, tomorrow my back is going to pain. So you should have general fitness up to that point where you can live your life without pain and confidently live your life, because we want to explore the world around us, and the only way we can explore the world around us is through the body that we have. Otherwise, you're just going to be stuck at home and you'll probably watch a video, and it's not the same as going for a trek, experiencing the view, than watching a video of someone going on a trek and experiencing the view. So I feel like the body we have is a tool that we use to experience the world around us, and your general fitness should be related to being able to use this tool to explore the world around you or to build memories with people. Like, I'll give you another example. So I have this client who I trained, and she was like close to she had an autoimmune disorder, and she was close to the deathbed. And then we slowly got out of that. We relearned how, like, she did basic physio, but then we relearned how to walk. We relearned how to do so many things. And one day she became a grandmother. So she called me up and she's like, I thought of you the other day a lot. And I was like, why? What happened? She's like, I became a grandmother and I actually picked up a baby and I held it in my hand. And when I was on the bed, I never thought I would be fit enough to go pick up a baby, hold it in my hand, and have a memory with my granddaughter now. So for me, that is what, fitness should lead against. It's like she could have done nothing and she could have still been on the bed. But the fact that she did that, she worked, She built that strength. Now she's running, jumping, like she's like doing crawling movements and a lot of different movements. But that was like the thing that made her also like, I can build experiences with my body. I don't have to be stuck in a room. I don't have to be stuck on the bed. I don't have to be, what do you call it, feeling like a, how when you're stuck in one place, you feel like a burden to your family and things like that. See, I don't have to feel, I have the confidence to do things on my own. So that's why fitness is. But now the misconception happens is when you see elite athletes and when you see elite people who are doing crazy things, like even for parkour, you see people jumping from building to building, or you see like open Instagram, and Instagram is full of beautiful people who have good bodies and who are doing crazy things. But again, these are the elite of the elite people who have the time bandwidth. Like for me, for example, I can do so many things with physically because I've dedicated my life towards building a life where I'm able to do these things. My work is physical oriented, my lifestyle is physical oriented, so it's easy for me to get up, make 2 hours if I need to in a day, and train. Most people have family burden, children, job, boss, this over their head. So in their box of energy that they have, they've already used so much of the energy where very little is left for themselves. So it's how to utilize what's left for yourself and really logically look at your situation, logically look at where you need to be, logically look at what you need to do, not compare yourself to people who are living that lifestyle, because that's a very different thing. And to do what you can do to the best of your ability. So that's the funda that I have when it comes to, like what you said, like when you see crazy things, it's like understanding that these people who are doing crazy things have their whole life revolved around doing this crazy thing, which is why they can do it.
Correct.
If any of you had that time, had that same passion, same motivation, same discipline to do it, you also could do it. But then the thing is also where your time is dedicated, like how much it's distributed.
Correct. Then, like, what is animal movement? So it is related to parkour or it is different?
So the great thing about parkour is everything can be parkour because it's all about moving your body, overcoming obstacles. So animal movement is just basically using your body and mimicking movements that you see in nature. Okay. Also, the problem now is we are animals. So we have a certain bit of movement that we are able to do. And it goes into very deep training, very deep like thinking and everything like that. But if you look at it as an evolutionary standpoint, we are, as a human, we are able to do everything except for fly. We can crawl, we can climb, we can do this, we can do that, we can swim, we can, do a lot of different activities. And we've been evolved in a way where, like, the evolution is such that we've used these activities at some point or the other in the past to be able to reach where we are right now. And once we've reached over here, we've forgotten a lot of those things that make us human, those things that make us animals, those things that make us move in certain ways, and we put it in a box of fitness again. So now people go and they'll only do chest, or they'll only do back, or they'll only do this, or they'll only do that. So that's, for me personally, that's not fitness. For me, fitness is looking at what your body has been evolved to doing. Evolutionary, like carrying, like for example, putting weight on your back and then walking for like a certain amount of time. That is also something that we used to do. So hunting, gathering, scavenging, all those activities. So your fitness should mimic movements which are somewhat related to what your body is already designed to do, and to then kind of add on to that.
So basically, your movement should be related to the jungle environment or ecosystem of jungle.
You could say that. Or you could just say it's basically, say, how do I put this? You could say that's a way though. But another thing is also to think about how at a certain point in our time, we used to live in tribes. In that tribe, there should be probably someone who takes care of getting the food, gathering the food, going into this thing. There should be a part of the tribe that used to go for hunts. There should be a part of the tribe that used to fight and keep the tribe safe. There should be a part. So there are a lot of differences. It's not about just staying in the jungle, or it's not about just, putting yourself again into doing one certain activity. It's about understanding that we have a very dynamic body that does everything from carrying to crawling to swimming to, so when it comes to your own fitness, add elements of everything into it, and then that creates a very balanced, very good physique that you can probably use functionally. Like, people come to me for body transformations, for example, and just to look good, but then the question that I ask is, why only train to look a certain way when you can perform you can use your body in a beautiful manner, and the looking part comes as a result of the performance that you have given yourself. So that's basically it. So animal movement also, people think it's just crawling, it's just this, it's just that, but then look at the nature of what your own body does, what you've been evolved through so many years to do, like ancestry, history, whatever, and then think what you could do. And if you want basic videos, and there are basic videos online everywhere, and people telling you how to do things, progressions, etc. But the first thing is understanding what the body is actually capable of doing.
Okay. So like now people also have this another misconception. If you go to the gym, then only you can make your body shaped likewise. So is it that just break this myth that gym is necessary for making your body shaped, or you can make your body just going out there?
Honestly, the gym is a tool.
Okay.
I get this a lot. I've stopped going to the gym also personally. So I'll tell you why also afterwards. But the thing is, I only train at home. And I train very basic movements at home. I train pull up, push up. I add some bit of movement into it, in terms of like a little bit of crawling, little bit of animal movement kind of things. But my fitness for myself right now, it's very simple. And I want to show people that you can do simple things. And the thing is, it's not that going to the gym is important. It is being consistent that is important. You can just do pull-ups and push-ups 4 times or 5 times a week and still develop a good body. And it'll be stronger than a lot of people who go to the gym. Like I know people who go to the gym, deadlift a lot of weight, do this, do that, but they can't do a single pull-up. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because maybe they are not training for pull-ups, but I look at things in a more real-world use scenario as well. If I need to go and climb a wall because a dog is chasing me one day, I should be able to climb that wall. If I need to run away from someone who's coming to hurt me, I should be able to run away from someone. So the gym is a great tool, but it's not the end and the beginning of your fitness journey. Your fitness journey can start in an empty room, just using your body. Like I tell people, the best tool that you have, the most beautiful tool that you have and that you will ever have, is your own body. And how you use that body is what is important. So, and I've realized that people, now the gym helps because for one, it makes it easy. You can go to the gym, you can get a trainer, the trainer will tell you what to do, and the basics are sorted over there and there. But when you have to really sit and think for yourself, that's where people get stuck. So, for example, when I'm coaching people now, I tell people that it's not that you need a coach in your life, it's that you need the knowledge that the coach has, and you have to be consistent in doing that thing. If you have a teacher who taught you A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H in junior KG, that teacher is not teaching you how to write your sentences now. Right now, it's your own brain, your own imagination. You are doing that with the tools that that teacher gave you in communication all those years ago. So I tell people, I'm going to give you the tools to understand what your body needs, how to move, and you can do your training anywhere. Once you have the tools, once you have the knowledge, you don't need a coach. So that's basically it. So you don't need a gym. You need the knowledge that you could possibly do to use your body in a way that it needs to be used.
So basically you need to have knowledge that you can channelize to make your body likewise, or maybe make it in a shape, but you just need to be prepared for that. You just need to take that decision, that one decision, whether you go there, you go there.
Yeah. So it's not also a decision, it's about the knowledge.
Okay.
It's like you need the knowledge, and once the knowledge is there, then you need to be dedicated towards doing it.
Yeah. Basically gathering every information and putting it in one channel and then performing those things.
Yes, exactly that.
Yeah. So like I just want to ask another thing, that people are not willing to do such body movements right now, Dave, because the surrounded people around us, the people around us now, they are not mentally stable nowadays, because we have work pressure, we have relationship, we have friendship, we have blah blah blah, blah, so many things which is also affecting our mental health. So people have this misconception of, oh, I'm not mentally fit, so I cannot perform this. But I feel that like what I've personally experienced, and I want to know your thing is, body movement can change your mental health ka state also. Is it possible? Please elaborate this whole point. Can body movement align your mental health in a certain way that you can be happier and happier?
Absolutely, yes. So the thing is, I've realized this not only for myself, but I've realized this for people who have been coaching also. So say, for example, so consistency is a very tough thing to do. So now there are days where suddenly even for me, even though my life is designed around, like it rotates around this, fitness is one of the most important things in my life. I make sure I get time for it. There are times where I also slack off. It happens to everybody.
Sneak out.
Yeah, it happens to everybody.
Yeah.
But I've realized that on the days that I have slacked off, I feel like things affect me a little more. I feel like I'm less sharp, like I'm less aware, I'm less ready to do things. And then, funnily enough, that 1 week of not doing anything, like if I go on a holiday, I'll just spend time enjoying my holiday and everything. But then when you come back from the holiday, it's hard for me also to restart the whole thing, because you keep saying, "Arey, kal karega," and then if it's on Saturday, you'll say, "No, I'll let the weekend, I'll chill, and then I'll start on Monday." And then when it's on Monday, you're like, "Arey, yaar, I don't want to get up and do it." But now, so the thing is, once you start, right, it's like a switch that flips it. Once you get that first day in, once you build that routine, and once it starts happening, you suddenly feel more aware, more active, more happy in the body. Like it just comes. It's like something that your body wants, it needs. Like, again, if you look at it, earlier we used to be fit in order to survive. As an evolutionary standpoint, we used to have to escape animals, we used to have to escape other tribes that are coming to kill us, we used to have to escape hunger by going, catching something, carrying it, bringing it back home. There's a certain bit of it that is there in the body, and it needs that movement. And by not doing that, it does play on the mind. You start getting more and more lethargic, and it starts becoming less. And then suddenly, so on those days that I take off, I know for a fact I'm going to eat chips. And then the next day my workout will come, like, I don't feel like doing this. And I feel like I'm eating something else. And I feel like, okay, I can eat a pizza. It becomes like a little downward spiral. But I feel like just as downward spirals happen, there are upward spirals that no one talks about. When you get up in the morning and you decide to do it, and then you feel good in your body, you're like, oh, so today I want to eat this because since I'm doing this, it becomes that your body starts craving the right things at the same time. So it's all about staying consistent with what you're doing and being able to do it most of the time in the best way that you can do it.
Okay, so like you are very clear about that physical movement, body movements, and whatever workout you do can align your mental health also in a certain way, which will make you more happier, or maybe it will make you mentally stable to work more for any activity you're doing. Just like you said, if a dog is chasing us, we need to just be mentally and physically prepared for that. If you are physically prepared but mentally not prepared, like if we'll think, no, that dog will bite me, then I don't think even if you are physically fit, you can run away from that dog.
Yeah.
Ultimately, he'll come to you only.
Yeah.
So, it aligns, correct? Nice.
So I've realized that even, sorry to cut you off, but I've realized even if the dog bites you, if you're someone who keeps yourself in a certain way, if you maintain a certain bit of physical discipline or something, I feel like setback will not set you back to an extent of someone who doesn't do anything. Like, for example, I had 2 years ago, I had torn my ACL. And all the MRIs and everything, they said that I needed surgery to do it. But I said, no, I'm going to do it with my knowledge. I'm going to have faith in God, and I'm going to do it with like faith and knowledge. And and I've recovered. I'm doing everything that I can do. I'm doing everything that I used to do. And it's gotten strong. It's gotten everything. No surgery, nothing. And I know people who also have lesser a degree of an injury like this, and they're still wondering how I did it, or they're still wondering, so if you don't do anything now, things stay the same. And if you decide to do something, even if it's the most basic thing, you mentally become strong. So like when failure hits you, the dog catches you, this happens, that happens. When you do something that is so physically, when you overcome that obstacle, when you've seen, this is where I was, I've become this strong, I've become like this, that strength stays with you in a way where you become more confident in the world around you. It's like if this challenge happens tomorrow, I can overcome this challenge because I have built that trust within myself that I can do these things. I can be this strong. I can overcome these obstacles. So tomorrow someone says no to you, girlfriend leaves you, this, that. You won't have so much of a setback. It'll be like, it's just another day. Something has happened. Life will move on. I'll keep working on myself. I'll move on with life that's moving on. That's the main takeaway that it has.
Great. So I just want to know, like, coming back to calisthenics and parkour, if like someone like me who has zero idea about it, if I want to get into this, what are the precautions? What are the things that I should know before getting into it?
Perfect. Good question. So the first thing you need to do is ask yourself where your body is right now. Do you have pain? Do you have ache? If not, then you can start on a program that teaches you the basics of what you need to do. So it'll teach you the progression of what the pull up, the muscle is. So you lie down on the ground, use a towel, and just kind of feel what the movement is like. Uh, from there, you can go to push ups on the wall, you can go to this, you can go to that. But the main thing that you need to do is address pain and get rid of pain. Because if you have a shoulder problem from, say, when you were young and you were playing badminton and then something went off like that, address that first, get that healthy, then start working on other bigger things in life. So it becomes more of a communication with your own body that you need to ask questions and get the answers to. If your knee is paining, or tomorrow you want to start a fitness journey but you have a knee pain, you have to ask why my knee is paining. Get that checked, do your work on the knee, get that sorted out, and then start training more and more and putting intensity on that knee. A lot of times people with that knee pain, everything, they'll just go 0 to 100. The knee pain becomes worse, and that's not fitness. So when it comes to fitness, there's a lot of understanding where you are right now and where you want to be, and how to address all the problems that are there in between that. So I would say if you have pain, get rid of pain, then start building strength, then build all your mobility and everything, and then start doing higher intense activities. But getting rid of the pain is very important.
But there's this another point, like people in India are like more familiar with the things that I want to do this. No matter, even if I have a pain, people lie about it because they just want to join out of excitement. I saw this video, I want to be like this. I want to be like this. I want to be like that. I just want to perform it like that. I just want to show off. I want to put it on my Instagram story. So people just neglect those things and they just move on. So it gets worse in the end, correct?
Yes. Which is why I said earlier also, you should separate yourself from what you see on Instagram or what you see
on Facebook. Yeah.
Anywhere, like
Yeah,
online.
yeah.
Because these are elite people who have
Mastered.
Not just mastered, they have all the time in the world to dedicate towards it. And they've been doing it also for so long now that it's become part of their body, it's become part of whatever they're doing. If you're coming as a layperson, give yourself, people say like 3-month transformation, I can do this for you, 3 months. It's not about 3-month transformation, it's not about 4-month transformation, it's about a life altering transformation that changes your mental outlook towards life in general, mental outlook towards your body, mental outlook towards understanding what you are doing, understanding why you're doing it, understanding what you're feeling, and then doing it. If you just see someone doing something cool online and you replicate it, how are you making that personal to you? You're just becoming like a clone of another person.
Someone, yeah.
You want to be original in the way where, a lot of people ask me also, they're like, Giles, why don't you show videos of you doing this? Or why don't you do that for your video? Why don't you make it go viral with what you're doing and do viral work? And I'm like, it just makes me like a person. It's not what I want to do, first of all. I want to spread information in the right way, like in a good way. I want to show people that consistency, all the boring things, consistency, dedication, hard work. I want to show people that these things are more important than that 5 seconds of doing something and like why become a monkey for someone else to see and then doing something that's more meaningful. It's like everyone out there is doing those like if there's a TikTok dance that's trending, everyone will be doing that same dance. What differentiates you between someone else? It's like it's you want to have your own spirit, your own attitude, your own outlook towards life, and put that out there, because then that has more, it shows who you are as a person.
Yes. So I just want to ask you again, this is a very personal question. Are you spiritually active?
Yes. So when it comes to spirituality, I don't believe in a religion per se. I believe your spirituality is a relationship with, like for me, it's Jesus. I'm a Christian, but I don't look at it like a religion aspect. I look at it as how I want to be and how I want to live my life. And I feel like your life, like for example, when people ask you like what religion are you or something, I feel like the way you live your life should show what you believe in your heart. It's like if I say I want to, like want to be like Jesus, for example. It's like I believe in him, and what about my life makes me live in a way that shows that, you know, I'm like this, I'm like that, I follow this, I follow that. It again, it comes back to in a certain way. I'm into the physics, like why I keep myself fit. It's like if I'm telling you to be fit and I myself am not doing that. I'm like smoking 100 cigarettes in a day. I have like a big paunch, or I'm like gotten all my problems or this and that. You won't take advice from me. You're like, "Arey, khud nahi karte," so like it's like,
Yeah.
how are you telling me what to do? So I feel spirituality and everything also should be a similar way. If you feel like it's something you don't follow, something you don't want to aim for, something, you know, that is not really moved you in a way where it feels like, you know, this is what I need to follow, and you being a reflection of that, I feel like that's where it should be. So also I have had experiences in like the past where it's, you know, I felt
Yeah.
that divine intervention come in at the right time in my life and save me from doing a lot of things. So
Then you start believing the energy.
yeah, you start believing it.
Yeah. So like, see, there are like in Hinduism, so there is this part we call it Ishtadev. Ishtadev is
Okay.
your favorite god.
Huh.
So in Christian, you're Christian, not Catholic, correct?
Yeah.
Christian.
Christian, yeah.
Okay. So in Christian, there is only Jesus, or there are other gods also. So in Hinduism, I'll explain. So in Hinduism, there is Ishtadev. Ishtadev means my favorite god. So I get my all the energies from my Ishtadev, which is Hanumanji. Hanumanji is my Ishtadev, and my Kuldev is the god which is homely connected is Tulsa Bhavani. So there are two differences. So who is your Ishtadev in Christianity? Ishtadev
Okay.
is favorite god.
Favorite. For me, it's like it's Jesus himself, because the thing is, what I love about the whole, what I love like mostly
Yeah,
about Jesus is like he's the Son of God.
Hmm.
Okay, he can, and he came down as a sacrifice for us to be able to find a way into heaven. Like if you look at like it in the Christian way, he sacrificed himself for all the sins for him to this thing, for us to be able to access God. And in a human aspect, if you think about it, like we ourselves will not sacrifice for another person, but then to see someone who is already like, it's like, think of a very high prince or a very high king that you know in like the real world. They won't send their children to be with like all the commoners and everything like that, or for, and then for that person to even like go to the point where he would sacrifice
his
and
life.
you know, their
Yeah.
life for someone who's worth almost nothing in terms of the
Correct.
hierarchy of whatever.
Correct.
It's something you can't think of. And I think if the god of like the universe or whatever has sent that child in order to be a sacrifice for everyone, it just shows that how we are supposed to live for each other. It's like, I've done this level of a sacrifice, you can definitely do this level of a sacrifice. So like, you know, if it bothers you to do something, it bothers you to do it, you can do it, and you can live a life where, you know, you don't have your nose in the, like, at least like a humble life where you can show people a little bit of love, or you can show people a little bit of care, show people a little bit of
Yeah.
acceptance, and then live. So that's why I really feel like, you know, it's a example of putting that faith into action kind of a thing. It's like I can say like, I like this because he's so powerful, or he's like this, or he's like that, and I feel like that's very good and everything. But I feel like the power in like humility, in being grounded, in just giving, in terms of that, goes a lot longer, and just not just bringing yourself up, you can help bring other people up also. So that's basically it.
So basically, that's why I asked you, because spiritual energies needs to be powered up by us, and they should be powering us. It's like we are connected to them, they are connected. There is a power generated that makes us doing things what we are doing up. Like if you're doing like one day you literally stopped, and then there is something, if you're spiritually active, then you can directly connect to God. Sitting by alone and like, hey Jesus, or maybe like Hanumanji, I'm just waiting for you, just give me some energy, I'm just fucked up here, please help me up. So that's why spiritually you have to be active. So you are
that way, 100%. And it's I really believe that there is a greater, like if you look at just how things are so intricately designed, right? on this planet, in the universe. It's insane to imagine that it's like it just fell into place.
Yeah.
It,
There is something.
there is something, yeah. There is something. So things just don't fall into place, I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah.
this. So
Everyone has their own supremacy energies.
Yeah.
It's just that divided, everything is one.
Yeah.
It's just divided by the names
Yeah,
and
yeah,
the
yeah.
by thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So coming back to the our calisthenics. So if someone wants to add that body movement, like more of body movement and calisthenic in their daily routine, like by not hiring a coach, classes, or maybe someone the information out there on internet, so how someone can put that thing in their daily routine and they start doing slowly, then they go to advance. What are the basic things that one should perform at their daily routine in their home or wherever they are?
So now one thing is there's a lot of knowledge out there. It's how you use the knowledge, how you find the knowledge, and how you are able to incorporate that knowledge into your life. When it comes to just basic daily stuff, if you don't have any pain in your body, if you're a perfectly functioning human being, I would say start off by, instead of taking the lift to your office, if it's on the 10th, like 5th floor, 6th floor, 7th floor, start by walking up the lift. It'll take you 15 minutes, 20 minutes. But it's still 15 minutes or 20 minutes that you've done today that you have probably not done if you took the lift. Or for example, if you have even 10 minutes of the day to dedicate towards some sort of activity, you can just do some stretching, you can do some walking, you can do some basic on the flow progression kind of movements, which you will find hundreds and hundreds of videos online. It's about giving yourself the 10 minutes and 15 minutes to do that. Because I've realized people underestimate, I've read this line also and I very much agree to it. I feel like people underestimate what they can do in a year and they overestimate what they can do in a day. In a day, if you can even, like, people will go like spend 2 hours working out. They'll do nothing throughout their life. They'll spend 2 hours on the first day. Second day, they're dead. Body is not recovered. Third day, body is... 1 week. I've had people who have been so for like 2 weeks also. Not 2. 1 week. 1 week or 10 days. And after that, they've recovered for their next workout. But the thing is, that's because they went extra intensively on their first session itself. Like I tell them, like, go easy. Like, no, nahi karna. And that josh ke saath, they end up doing like lots. And to tell people to stop also, it becomes like, okay, fine, they want to do it, so let them only see how it feels for the next few days if you go so hard instantly. So my goal is to tell people, while instead if that person did 15 minutes, say if they did an hour with me and they're dead for a 1 week afterwards, they've lost out on 6 more days of training. But if you've done 15 minutes on the first day, 15 minutes the second day, 15 minutes on the third day, 15, overall, the amount of time that you are training in that 1 week exceeds the amount of that 1 hour that you did. It's like, it's good for like, how much? Like 15. That's basically just doing the bare minimum. It overtakes that 1 day's 100% push and you feel better. Body is adapting better. You're different. You're moving a little better and you're giving you're not torturing yourself through the process. So I would say if you have, your journey should start with just doing the bare minimum for 10 minutes, 15 minutes a day. Stretch, do some basic ground movements, like learn how to do push-ups, learn how to do pull-ups. Use those elements and slowly add to your journey. And then over a period of time, it's like a canvas. You don't just straight away start with a beautiful, you don't like do one brush stroke and the painting is like, it's not just you taking the video now.
Yeah.
And now the video is done. It'll take time editing the video. It takes time checking the sound. It takes time seeing if there are outside elements. It takes time to... So just in that way, use one brush stroke, second brush stroke. Give yourself 10 minutes today, 10 minutes tomorrow, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. And then slowly build that beautiful artwork that you can do, which is your body, your fitness, your mental strength, and everything is a process. Like I was talking to a client also recently. And he was telling me, mentally, like I feel like this. I said, that's good. See, the first thing is understanding there's a problem. Once you understand you have a problem, then you can break that problem down. A lot of people don't even understand that they have a problem. They just live life and one day life is over. So I said, the fact that you understood there's a problem, that's great. Now, don't think that the problem will go away overnight. It'll take time because what you've told yourself, for example, if growing up, I used to have very low self-worth and self-motivation because I used to keep telling myself, you're a failure, you're a this, you're a that, you're good for nothing, and that stays in your life for a long time. And it doesn't go away in one day. It doesn't go away in Like, tomorrow I'm a new person. It's not, it takes years and years of removing those things, building confidence, showing that you're not of this, showing that you're not that. Having that like it doesn't happen overnight. So same thing for fitness, same thing for your mental health journey. Nothing is an overnight process. It always takes time. It always takes taking out the old, making a new thing, adding to it. So that's where everything lies. So give yourself 15 minutes, 20 minutes every day. Even if you can take like 3 minutes to just sit quietly, breathe, understand what, even if you're not praying, it doesn't have to be a prayer. It could be just thinking. Like some of my friends, they ask me, what do you do in your free time? I say, I like to sit in my room and just by myself, no sound, chill. Like, how is that fun? I said, it's not fun, but it's my kind of way of bringing back to myself, my kind of way of understanding where I am, my mental processes, correct, where I'm going wrong in my life. Because we all like to think we are heroes and we all like to think that we can't do anything wrong in our lives. But then when you really think about it, you realize like, you've probably been a villain in someone's life at some point by doing something stupid. Like even right now, like the thought, I know what I've done, like in some sort in my life. So it's about understanding things, growing, accepting that you're not perfect, apologizing if you need to apologize, moving.
Correct. So there's the one thing I know about it, if you are comfortable talking about that you have overcome your suicidal thoughts also. If you are okay talking about it, you can. Like please let people know that there was a point in your life that you wanted to suicide, but you overcome it and you overcame it, and now that you are dealing with it very perfectly, that you have overcome it totally, and now you're doing so good in your life. Can you just tell people like who are feeling suicidal, who are just watching the podcast, like even if we can influence one, I think that will be the greatest thing for us. Please go for it if you're comfortable.
Absolutely. So I'm very happy to talk about this because it's something that you experience. Yeah. So what happened is, I remember throughout school, throughout my younger years also, like I said, I used to keep feeling like a failure. I used to keep feeling like I'm not good at anything because I also know for a fact that I was not academically very smart. I failed in school and then I failed like multiple times in college, and then even for my 12th standard, I remember I failed around 6 or 7 times back to back to back. So I've seen 6. So I've seen at least 4 years or 5 years of people come, college, leave, go, move on in life, come, college, leave, move on in life, come, college. So when you feel like that, you slowly start feeling like you're good for nothing, and all those negative thoughts and negative processes you have in your head become more and more amplified because you're seeing it. You're seeing that you're being a burden to your mother, you're being a burden to your father, you're seeing the state at home. Like when they look, like, when people look at you, they're like, like, whatever, like, failure, dabu, like, over. Not very nice words. So, and then when you start convincing that you are yourself, when you wake up in the morning and you say, yeah, man, I am this, I am that, it's oddly, like, it puts you in a very negative mind space where it means that you feel lower than the lowest organism on the planet. And you genuinely feel that if I'm not there, things will be better for everyone around. And it got to that point for me. So I remember once when I think it was the 6th time that I had gotten my failed 12th standard report. I told myself I'm going to go pick up the report, that failed one, and jump out of the train on the way home and say whatever, like, and I can't be a burden anymore to anyone around me. And for some weird reason, that day when I had gone, everything went to plan. I picked up my report, got into the train. I was standing near the door ready to jump, and my phone kept on ringing. Like it went on and on and on ringing. And then I was like, "Arey yaar, who's calling me so much?" Like after the call cut, there was another call directly. After the call cut, there was another call. After the call cut, and I saw my phone and I saw that it was my mom. And there were like some 6 missed calls or something back to back. So I was like, maybe something happened at home. At least answer and see what.
Yeah, what's there?
Yeah. So I took the phone. My mom was like just talking very lovingly. She was like, "Hi, how are you doing? I love you. You know this, you know that." And she just kept me on the call through the journey. And I don't know, for some weird reason, by the time she cut the call, I had to get off the train. It took like for a good 30 minutes or 35 minutes almost, she was on the call with me. And she cut the call like one station away, I remember. And then one lady who I like, who's again a good person, whatever, she called me up after that. And she also asked me, how are you, and this and that. And by the time that call went off, I realized I reached the station. I was like, I this also you didn't do. Like, what is this? Like, one thing you set out to do today, that also you can't do. You really are like a failure or whatever. So I said, okay, anyway, I reached home. I'm going to try to. It didn't happen. Okay, fine. Now tomorrow is a new day. I'll see what I can do tomorrow. And then I slowly started like thinking about. I remember I went home. I started thinking about things. In a more constructive fashion. And then I got more into fitness. I got more into this. I got more into what I wanted to do. I got a little more into parkour. I started like slowly working towards things on my own pace without anyone finding out, without anyone doing whatever. And I realized after a year, I slowly got over that. I ended up passing my 12th also, which was great. So
you did it.
Yeah. So after a year or something, felt like I was in a completely different place.
Yeah.
Altogether. And I said, I should tell my mom what
about this.
What was going to happen, because she didn't call me. I would have probably jumped out, and I would have probably, that's it. My life would have been over. And I remember I wrote an email, because you don't just go to a parent and say,
I just want to die.
I was going to kill myself.
Yeah.
So I wrote my mother an email and I sent it to her. And then in the evening, she came to me and she was like, she was crying. She's like, that day you left the house. So my mom also is very spiritual, and she prays, and she has a certain connection.
Yeah.
She's like, the Holy Spirit told me, your son is going to jump out of the train. Keep him on call. Don't stop calling him, otherwise you'll lose him or something. And I was like, wait, what? And I was like, so first of all, it makes me feel like very weird, because it feels like such an extraordinary thing that has happened, because it was so to the point. Your son is going to jump out of the train.
Call him.
Yeah. So firstly, it shows that the discipline that my mom did in listening to the voice and in actually calling. It's like, faith and action are very related. It's like I can feel like something about something, then it is one, exactly. So she could have felt like, oh yeah, whatever, and not called, and then she'd have been like, oh, I wish I had called. But the fact that she did that meant that whatever had to happen didn't happen in that way, but it played out in a way like this. And now I feel like after coming out of it, I feel like I have had two lives. So one that ended that day, like honestly saying, like this wouldn't have, all the people I've met, all the people that I've been able to coach, all the people that I've interacted with in my life, that I wouldn't have had those memories. So I feel like that day was like a day where I was actually reborn in a way, where like something that was not supposed to be there. Like there are two versions. One is where I died. And one is now where every day is now a gift. Like it genuinely feels like a gift. It feels like when you wake up, it feels like, it's not that I knew I was going to get up. It's like you wake up and you know that, you're alive today. And that's what's,
I personally thank you, Giles, for this, because it's very hard to talk about it. Whenever you think, it gives you so much of flashbacks. That it. I'm so happy that you talked about it so casually and you discussed it. But that's what it comes where your spiritual energies, your discipline towards God, like whoever you are worshipping, that connects you with the energy, that you can sense the vibes, you can know what's going to happen. And that's what happened in the case of Auntie also. She got it and she called you up, and that is, it gives me goosebumps.
Seriously.
It's something like she told you before you telling her that I know that spiritual energy, those energy, holy energies said to me that your son is going to die, and that's crazy. So thank you so much. I personally want to thank you that you talked about it. So I'm thanking you personally about that. And let's come to the different part. I just want to add, have you I just want to ask this, how many celebrities have you trained so far? So if you can name them.
So I've worked with in here and there, but the thing is, I feel like calling people celebrities and all, it gives people like unnecessary.
I'll restructure my question. Like how many actors have you trained so far?
Okay, so I've helped. Like I'm not really trained personally. Like for example, I remember in my initial starting of when I was just getting into coaching and everything, I used to work with one instructor. His name is Abbas Ali. He used to have a lot of celebrities. So through him, I worked a little bit with, like, for one class or whatever. In the very bare minimum, like at least in a functional class that he was taking, like you rub shoulders with someone that he was possibly coaching. But in terms of celebrities myself, I currently train. I'll talk about only now because we look at it in the past and it's always someone or the
whatever
other
you're comfortable of hearing.
Yeah, like right now I'm training this girl called Shalini Pandey. Okay. So she's an actress and she recently did some work with Junaid also. In the past, it's been like someone like Ishan. He used to come for my Ishan Khattar used to come for my Parkour class long back, like long back. Then I've helped Amir's mom with a little bit of fitness, and then that's about like it comes and goes. It's But what I feel is I don't look at people as celebrities, actors, whatever. It's a profession doesn't make you who you are. It's just people who are people. It's like for example, if I'm training someone, if they are able to afford my coaching class, if they're able to give me like, for example, not just afford the classes, because they're taking their help, like in a way they're helping me live my life also. Like when someone hires me, they're giving you money. They are technically a celebrity for you because by them giving you money and by them having faith in your process and giving you time, giving you energy, taking the faith from your coaching and everything, and they are able to allow you to live the life where I can dedicate to this, dedicate to that. They are also a celebrity.
So I just want to ask one more thing which is more close to head, that you've trained NSG Commandos. How did that happen to you?
Great. So in fact, one day, Parkour is a very small community in the country. Like earlier, like back when I'm talking back then. Now it's already exploded, but back then there were just few groups who were training for a long time, and then people used to know each other through those groups. So my friends in Chennai got a call one day and told me they said can you, like they knew an army person or something, and they said can you form a team of people who want to train the NSG Commandos and this and that. And one odd day I was just like in my sister's house, and one major called me up from from the NSG forces, and he's like, "Hi, this is Giles. I got a number from what's his name? From Chennai Parkour, Vignesh. I got a name from Vignesh." And I was like, "Oh, what's it about?" He's like, "Would you be interested in training the NSG forces? I saw what you do. I saw a little bit that you've done online and would like to talk more into it." And so they got in touch with me, and then we were taken to Manesar in the base that they have. They have a very big base.
Yeah.
I know that we had to train them for like fitness, parkour, entry, exit, because he told us experiences that they have had in the past with like anti-terror or like work or other kind of work. And they were like, we need answers to these problems. So we sat there. We were there for like 2.5 months, I think. And we stayed in the base. They took good care of us. It was lovely. It was a very great experience. So
NSG is like this. You training NSG Commandos. It's a really big achievement,
Yeah. It feels very special. Like honestly saying, I don't show much, but in my heart, it's like it feels like one of those gems that are like kept in a safe, like because to be honest with you, even in the base, they were like, it's almost not known. First of all, that training goes outside the NSG forces. Then for training to be taken from the civilian population is to not heard only. But the fact that you're able to show that you can provide this sort of thing for what we need, and what we need. It's like, because I've realized like people in the NSG, they look at normal people like they're not strong, because the way they train is another level of training. They have fitness, which is like they do it. So for them to think that a person who's not in the forces can also not just do those things, but can also help make them better, and then for them to accept that they can be an addition into what they're doing is helping the forces become better and this and that. It's like it took a lot of change and everything to happen. So like I think in the country there are, with the NSG specifically, there might be only 4 or 5 people from civilian population who've been chosen.
So you are one of them.
So it feels
great,
good,
man.
Great. It feels good.
I'm just imagining it, how tough it is to stand in front of a NSG Commando and instruct him
Yeah,
about
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I'm like,
But I've realized this with people who are genuinely strong. It's like you have strong people, but they are strong just for the sake of ego.
Mhm.
And then there are people who are strong because it comes from a place of humility and growth. There are two kinds of strength, and what you're using your strength for. It's like if I go to the gym and just like you see a lot of people like on in gym videos who get into fights and all because they
Yeah.
are like, "Arey, main ye kar sakta, main bhai, I'm like this, I'm strong, I'm whatever, whatever."
Yeah.
But then if you look at people who are really strong, people who are truly strong are very humble. And when we went over there in that forces and everything, all those people over there, they were very humble. It was like all the people who were coaching with us. In fact, they used to call us sir. And I'm like, listen, you are the sir. Like, you don't call me sir because, you're the person who's doing this and you're the NSG guy. And
Yeah.
I'm just here to help you. He's like, no, but then you're helping me, right? So, which means you're like a teacher. So I should call you sir. So then we had this weird thing where we were just calling each other. I was calling him sir, he's calling me sir. So it was
Sir,
like,
sir.
sorry, yeah, so it was like
Yeah.
sir. So one great thing I've realized though with the NSG is I remember it's people from all, it's like they choose the best from like all over the country and they go there for like that XYZ amount of time. But I feel like if the country I'll tell you an example also. If the country had unity in a way that the NSG people I saw like living over there, everything, our country would be very great. Like it would be unstoppable. Because I remember this one time, so there were the group that we trained were like 25 people, I think, and they were a mix of say some people from Assam, some people who are Christian, some people who are Muslim, some people who are Hindus, some people who are whatever. Like we have so many different kinds of people in our country. Like whatever.
Diverse.
Yeah, we're extremely diverse. But what I realized is in that group, they were one person. It's like we had a day where they called us to the barracks. So, in fact, the NSG people put us in the officers' ka mess. Like we used to stay in like the officer room and everything.
Yeah.
And one day, the people who we were training called us to the barracks where they were training at, and they said, "We want to make for you food because we've done all this together and all that. So we want to make food for you." And then what I saw there, now a lot of people might like this, a lot of people might not like this, but I'm just talking about like the unity that was there as like a people. If you can just look at another person, not in the basis of, oh, he's a Muslim, he's a Hindu, he's a Christian, he's a this, he's a that. Look at the other person in terms of he's a human being. And to accept that I'm a human being, you're a human being, we all have same human instincts, same human desires, same human whatever. To put all the negative stuff aside, or put all the traditional thought processes on the side, and to just work on a human basis, that is something I saw. Then I was like, if the country does this in a whole, like 10% of this, if the country does 10% of this, it will be like unstoppable. Yeah. Because I've realized like there's a lot of diversity but division at the same time. Correct. But if you can somehow move over the things that stop us from being united, that goes very far.
Correct. Can you tell me another moment which has left you flabbergasted so far, which you can cherish rest of your life, like other than this? Is there anything that which is very precious and like you hold it back? And whenever you remember, like it's like from NSG training only.
Oh,
like,
from NSG. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So mostly that was the main. That was honestly saying the main thing. The second thing is, actually no, that was actually the main thing. That was one thing, and the other thing which is not to that level of whatever was, I remember, about a month and a half or something. Like we should tell, like they had this slogan that they used to say, Josh. Like they used to, whenever they were nervous to do something, they used to scream Josh and they should just do it.
Yeah, just like this movie, Uri. How was the Josh wala?
I don't know.
Like they say, how was the Josh?
Yeah.
And this, hi sir.
Yeah. So they should do that same thing. Like so they were scared to do one jump.
Yeah.
They should Josh and then they should just do the jump.
Yeah.
But then I used to tell them, listen, Josh, put that, it's good.
Yeah.
But hosh, like is important, like think. Because if you just throw yourself, so that's what people do. They throw themselves 100% at something and then they don't think of the outcome.
Yeah.
Or they don't think of what. Yeah, they just throw. And the thing is, they're strong. So they are able to take that level of, even if they fall down, they know how to fall or they know how to get hurt.
Yeah.
Or even if they get hurt, they're not going to cry. They're like,
or maybe their body's so trained that they know if this is going to hurt, that means that I can bear it.
Yeah, that's what. Most people don't do that. Most people, they'll get on small bruise and then their whole 10 days becomes that, oh, I've got one bruise. But It's like they didn't even think about it. Like, but the thing is, I say, listen, for you, you're not training for the sake of Josh.
Yeah.
You're not just doing what you're doing because you have the power to do it. A lot of times you have the power to do things, but when you're in a situation that requires you to think, like for example, say if you're on a stairway and people are shooting at you and this and that is happening, you're not going to say Josh and then turn and get shot.
Yeah.
You will.
Yeah, you need to. Yeah, you need to be on point.
You need to be on point. You need to use your brain and think. And then they were like, oh, think. Like, that was something that, because normally they have got very used to taking orders, but they were not used to thinking through.
Yeah.
Taking the order, letting it sit, and then understanding what it. So
yeah, just like whoever comes in front of us, shoot.
Yeah, it's like do it. Or if the commanding officers do this, there's no thinking as to how to do it.
Why to get it?
Yeah, it's just about doing it.
Just do it.
Which is great.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I was saying them, when it comes to your training, when it comes to your practice understanding the moment of being in that thing, what you're feeling, breaking it down, not just jumping.
Yeah.
Why you're jumping, how you're jumping. Think about things. So that, and then they started using that. They're like, oh yeah, so now we can also do this. I said, exactly. So just because I showed you how to do it like this, it doesn't mean you do it like how I did it. You have your own strengths. You have your own, I have my own strengths. I have my own weaknesses. So I'll do it in a certain way.
Yeah.
You can do this, have the same outcome, but do the task a little differently. So then that's when they realize, oh yeah, this is also a technique. That is also a technique. This is technique. That is technique. This works for me. That works for me. So they started thinking for themselves when it came to their training. So
nice. Great. It was a great experience. Hearing also, like you have experiences.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You have given the experience.
Oh,
like,
it was, yeah.
Yeah, you can tell your kids. I think you would be sharing this to your nephew also. I've met her. Like you might have been sharing those stories to her. Like it's great to hear.
It's great. Sometimes I look through the pictures also and I'm like, "Arey yaar,
please share me the pictures. I'll put it out here."
Oh, I don't know if you can, because it has people's faces and all
No.
that. So.
I'll just blur out the faces if you can.
Yeah.
I'll blur out the face and put it out.
Works.
And like, let's see.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. Yeah.
Works.
So I just want to ask you, what keeps you going on? Now, currently, what is the motivation that you have in your life? Current motivation.
So I don't look at motivation.
Yeah.
So for one, I feel like that's a problem. Like people will watch this podcast and then be like, hey, I'm motivated. One day they'll do something and then the motivation dies.
Yeah.
It's not the motivation that gets you through the day. It's about telling yourself you're going to do this and doing it. Because that is what gives your, and it's a very, like I tell people now, like the way I live my life is very boring for most people on the planet. Because I'll be like, I don't go according to Josh, I don't go according to this, I'll just get up, I'll do what I need to do. And it makes me happy but it makes me happy that I'm doing it consistently, that matters. So it's not motivation, it's discipline that takes you where you need to be. Like if you were motivated one day, like for example, take your own example.
Yeah.
You start a podcast. One day you might have woken up in the morning and you're like, oh, I'm motivated to start a podcast. This is that.
Yeah.
And you do it for one day, but then afterwards you realize like, oh yeah, but now this is a problem, that is a problem, this is this, that is this. Editing will take so much time. Finding guests will take so much time. It takes so much of my day. How do I balance it? And the motivation dies. But now you've dedicated towards yourself to say that
I want to do this.
I want to do this.
Yeah.
I'm going to get up tomorrow with the sole purpose of putting time to do this. I'll get up tomorrow taking that one step towards doing this. Maybe tomorrow I might fail, take 2 steps back, but the day after that I'll take 1 more step towards doing this. So motivation, after some time you feel like, why am I even doing it? It kind of goes away. But then when you're dedicated, you see what your future, like there's this saying, your future self will thank you for the sacrifices you're making today. So when you see your future self, when you feel like you're putting that time in, building that consistency, then everything in life is consistency. Like relationships, everything, like fitness, relationships, work, everything is what you do consistently is what makes you the person that you are. So motivation after some time becomes like, I don't feel like working out, but you know what? It's part of what I want to do. It's part of what I am. It's part of who I am.
Yeah.
It's part of the task that I have given myself to doing. So I should do it.
Correct. So I'm landing towards the last question of this podcast.
Thank you.
Do you see future of body movement, parkour, animal movements, and all of those things in India? What is the future? Do you feel like it's gonna grow more?
The thing is, it's not certain. So again, people put fitness in a box. So when it comes to like, say you call it body movement or it's called animal movement, or I just say you should train functionally for the life that you want and for the life that you're living. So I believe more in like functional training, but it's not functional training to the point where, you know, you see videos, people doing some ropes, people doing something, people doing something, and they call it functional training. That's not functional if you're not using those things. So functional training is understanding what you need to do, why you are doing it, and what kind of training is functional for your body at your part of your life. So that is what's important. So obviously a lot of CrossFit classes are there, a lot of like, what do you call it, cross X classes, functional training classes, all these words are thrown around a lot. But truly functional workouts are if I'm a sprinter. For me, functional body is to be able to sprint as fast as I can. If I'm a power lifter, a functional body is to be able to lift, deadlift, squat, and bench press as much as I can. If I'm a football player, I want to be able to play the sport. So my training should be that. If I'm a person who goes to work, who lives a very sedentary lifestyle, functional for me involves what I can do to not have pain, to be able to catch the bus, to be able to play with my children, to be able to do this. For a granny, functional training is to be able to not fall down, because you realize like a lot of senior citizens and everything, they have a fall which causes them to need injury. But then the thing is, they have pre-existing conditions like diabetes and everything that are very high when you're older, and you don't recover from those. So I've seen people who have got like a minor hip injury who needed surgery. Who fallen on, cracked their hip, needed surgery. But now that's not healed because of the pre-existing conditions they have, because of which they've gotten bedridden, because of which it's gotten infected, and because of which they've died. So just because they've not fallen down, for them functional training is to have the balance in their body, or the reaction to be able to hold, or the strength to just be able to react and like, you know, think and not just go. So functional body movement, parkour, whatever, it very depends on who you are and where you are in life and what your goals are. So again, NSG people, they'll want to perform, to do the work that they have to do, and to not get hurt doing it, which is very important. So
it's growing. Yeah,
it's growing, and I feel like it should be designed to what the person is doing.
It should be channelized and designed in the right information.
Exactly. Yeah. Correct. I shouldn't be doing things just because I'm doing things.
Correct. So firstly, thank you so much, Giles, for being on my podcast. And this is something that I was looking forward. I'm so flabbergasted from inside that this conversation has come so fruitfully out with the knowledge that has to exist out there. Like I wanted to know, I was interested to know more. Like whenever we had a talk, we didn't have talked about it so deeply. So now that I know personally, we also talked about it, and I also know very personally, I'm so flabbergasted by the information that I can proudly share with the people whenever I'm talking to someone, Parkour, who is someone doing calisthenics. I know that I did a podcast with Giles. So I know that. So thank you, Giles.
Thank you, man. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. This is Giles D'souza from Yaadi's Podcast Show with host Jitesh Rathod. Thank you so much. Signing off.
Thanks, man.